Every summer here in Florida, the marigolds put on such a beautiful show. But eventually, the combination of heat, humidity, and all of our summer rain just becomes too much for them. By late June and July, they're usually telling me it's time for something new. This time, I wanted to try something a little different. I've slowly been adding little cottage garden-inspired spaces around our yard. Living in Florida, there are obviously not traditional English cottage gardens. I have to choose plants that can handle our long summers, so naturally they look a little different, but I still find them just as charming. And this felt like the perfect opportunity to add another one. So with a pretty simple plan in mind, we headed to one of my favorite nurseries to see what we could find. I always enjoy coming here. Even if I don't know exactly what I'm looking for yet, it's one of those places that's just fun to wander. Everywhere you look, there's something blooming, and I always leave feeling inspired. It's impossible not to leave with ideas. One thing I knew from the beginning is I definitely wanted more salvias. We already have them in other parts of the yard, and I absolutely love them. They're beautiful, the pollinators seem to love them, and I wanted to create more spaces that would attract even more butterflies and hummingbirds. Before long, we'd picked out what we came for and made our way to checkout. And that's when a very typical Florida summer afternoon decided to make things a little more interesting. The rain came down so hard that leaving wasn't really an option, so we waited it out right there in the nursery. Honestly though, if you're going to be stuck somewhere during a summer rainstorm, this was a pretty wonderful place to be. And while we were waiting, a few more plants caught my eye and somehow found their way into our cart. And once the rain finally let up, it was time to head home and get to work. Before I started on the flower bed, I harvested some greens from one of our GreenStalks for our morning smoothies. Then it was time to tackle the space itself. The plumbagos surrounding the bed had gotten pretty overgrown, so they needed a good trim before I could really get started. I also realized that my usual yard shoes probably weren't the best choice while using head shears, so the work boots made an appearance. After that, I unloaded all of the new plants, wheeled everything into the backyard, and started laying things out to see how it might come together. Even though I already knew these marigolds were done for the season, I still found myself pausing for a moment before pulling them out. It's funny how attached you can get to something as simple as a few flowers. Once the bed was cleared, it finally started to feel like a blank canvas. I moved the plants around more times than I can count before finally settling on a layout that felt right. Along with the salvias, I added shrimp plants, lantanas, pentas, all plants that I've grown in other parts of the yard, and I wanted to bring them into this space too. My goal wasn't just to create something beautiful, I also wanted to add even more flowers that hummingbirds and other pollinators might enjoy. Instead of buying something for every single gap, I also took some cuttings from our purple queen patch and tucked some of those into the bed as well. By the time everything was planted, mulched, and watered, we had completely run out of daylight. It definitely wasn't the way I'd planned to finish this project, but it was really satisfying to stand back and see this space beginning its new season. The next morning, I came back outside to see everything in the daylight, and before long, there was already a Gulf fritillary butterfly visiting one of the salvias. That felt like a pretty good welcome. As I looked everything over, I realized there were a couple of little spots I still wanted to fill in. So we made one more quick stop at a different nursery that I also love. I picked up just a few more plants, and that was enough to make the space feel complete. Well, complete for now. One thing about gardening is that it's never really finished. Every season offers something beautiful, and the next always brings something new to enjoy. Right now, this little cottage garden is just getting started, and that's part of the joy. Watching something slowly grow into what you imagined is every bit as rewarding as the finished result. The plants still have plenty of growing to do, and I'm looking forward to watching this flower bed fill in over the weeks and months ahead. I'm really happy with how it's beginning, and it feels good to know that this little space will continue to change and grow on its own. Sometimes the most beautiful part isn't finishing the work, it's realizing that the story is just beginning and finding joy in everything that comes next. Take care.